Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
सर्गश्च प्रतिसर्गश्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Padma Purana, Uttara Khanda. This chapter contains 23 sections. Badrik Ashram. Once on being asked by the sages about the greatness of Badrik Ashram, Sutji narrated the same tale which Lord Shiva had once told sage Narad. Lord Mahadeva had told Narad that altogether there were 1,25,000 mountains and Badrik Ashram was supreme among them. Lord Mahadeva said Badrik Ashram is the abode of Lord Narayana. Narayana, the origin of all creation, has 4 arms and his complexion is dark. Narayana manifests himself in both forms, Sakar as well as Nirakar. He is the eternal Purusha and is worshipped by people during the full period of Uttarayana. Since Badrik Ashram is covered with snow during the period of Dakshinayana, Narayana is not worshipped during these 6 months. All the deities dwell at Badrik Ashram. The sages live in their hermitages at Badrik Ashram. River Alaknanda flows at Badrik Ashram. Anybody taking a dip in the holy water of Alaknanda becomes liberated from his sins. The descent of river Ganga. Describing about the reasons why river Ganga was brought down on the earth, Lord Mahadeva told Narad, King Bhagirath was the architect of Ganga's arrival on the earth. He wanted to liberate his dead ancestors from the curse of sage Kapil. King Sagar came from the lineage of the famous king Harishchandra. Sagar had 2 queens. The elder queen had 60,000 sons, while the younger queen had just one, Panchajan. Panchajan's son was Anshuman, who himself was the father of Dilip. Dilip was the father of Bhagirath. Bhagirath did an austere penance on the Himalayas for 10,000 years. As a result, river Ganga descended on the earth. I, as Shiva, held her in the locks of my hair, and she remained there for 10,000 more years. Bhagirath requested me to release Ganga so that his ancestors could be liberated. I agreed to release Ganga, and Bhagirath took her to the Patala Loka, where his ancestors had been charred to death due to Kapil's curse. Bhagirath sprinkled the water of Ganga on the ashes of his ancestors, and each of them attained salvation as a result. Eventually, Ganga resurfaced at Haridwar, the most sacred place of pilgrimage. Dasharatha pacifies Shani. Sage Narada curiously asked Lord Mahadeva as to what made Shani such a volatile planet. Lord Mahadeva replied, Shani is extremely violent by nature, and everybody is scared of this planet. Once the royal astrologer of Dasharatha was petrified at the prospect of Shani entering the constellation of Rohini and warned him of its dire consequences. If the Shani is not prevented from entering Rohini, then famine would occur, lasting for more than 12 years, said the royal astrologer. Dasharatha went above the sky to subdue the might of Shani. Well armed with divine weapons, Shani became terrified on seeing Dasharath in such a menacing mood and expressed his willingness to fulfill his desires. Qualities of Vaishnava. Giving a detailed description of the qualities of Vaishnava, Lord Mahadeva told Narad, A person who has total devotion in Lord Vishnu is called a Vaishnava. He is truthful, kind, and forgiving by nature. He engages himself in austerity, penance, and refrains from any kind of violence. He wears a tulsi bead in his neck and puts on tilak. He is well versed in sacred texts like the Vedas, Puranas. The mere sight of a Vaishnava is enough to liberate a sinner from all his sins. Feeding a Vaishnava bestows virtue equivalent to feeding thousands of ordinary Brahmins. In the Prastha, the sages inquired from Sutaji about the holiest city situated on the banks of river Yamuna. Sutaji narrated the tale which sage Saubhari had once told Yudhishthira. Once Narada and Parvat were travelling through an aerial route. While they were flying over Khanda forest, they were lured by the beautiful sight of river Yamuna. They decided to take rest for a while. Both of them descended down and entered river Yamuna to take their bath. Meanwhile, King Shibi, who ruled over Ushinar, saw them. He eagerly waited at the bank of Yamuna. When Narad and Parvat emerged out of Yamuna, they found King Shibi eagerly waiting for them. Meanwhile, King Shibi had noticed the remains of numerous Havan Kundas, oblation altars, spread in a large area. After a formal exchanges of pleasantries were over, King Shibi asked Narad about those Havan Kundas. Narad replied, during ancient times, Indra had performed numerous yagas at this place to express his gratitude to Lord Vishnu. With those blessings, he had regained the heaven from the clutches of Hiranyakashipu. In course of time, this place became famous as Indraprastha. This sacrosanct place is holier than all the holy places combined together. Indraprastha is spread in the area of 1 yojana from east to west and 4 yojana from north to south. Vaikuntha, the abode of Lord Vishnu. Describing about the grandeur of Vaikuntha, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, a person who has total devotion in Lord Vishnu attains to Vaikuntha after his death. Vaikuntha is the abode of Vishnu and constitutes of numerous Janapadas. The magnificence of Vaikuntha is beyond description, and it houses many grand palaces fully decorated with jewels and diamonds. The central part of Vaikuntha is called Ayodhya and is well protected by Dwarapalakas named Chanda, Prachanda, Bhadra, Subhadra, Jaya, Vijaya, Dhata and Vidhata. Vaikuntha is inhabited by countless divine people who live in well illuminated houses. In the central part of Ayodhya is situated the Anantapuri of Lord Vishnu. It is inhabited by celestial beauties, Apsaras. There is a divine canopy situated just at the center of Anantapuri, where Lord Vishnu has his divine throne. The divine throne is surrounded by deities as well as by the embodiment of all the 4 Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda. The deities Agni, Surya and Chandrama have their dwellings at the center of Vishnu's throne. There is a grand pedestal called Yogapeeth established on the throne. A beautiful lotus flower is established on the Yogapeeth, on which is seated Lord Vishnu along with his consort Lakshmi. Lord Vishnu appears divine in his complexion of the blue lotus, whose radiance is enough to subdue crowds of sun. He has radiant earrings hanging down his earlobes. His forehead is covered with curly hair. He has the famous Kaustubha Mani in his neck. He holds a conch and a chakra in each of his 2 hands. and the remaining two hands are in the posture of giving blessings. The incarnations of Matsya and Kurma. The incarnations of Matsya and Kurma. Once Goddess Parvati expressed her desire to know about all the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. Lord Mahadeva replied, Lord Brahma had created numerous Prajapatis like Bhrigu, Marichi, Atri, Daksha, Kardamam, Pulasya, Pulaha, Angira and Kratu. Marichi was the father of Kashyap. Sage Kashyap had 4 wives, Aditi, Diti, Kadru and Vinita. Aditi was the mother of deities, while Diti gave birth to demons like Makar, Haigriva, Mahabali, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Jamba, Maya. Makara was a mighty demon who, after deceitfully acquiring the Vedas from Lord Brahma, had hidden himself inside an ocean. Lord Brahma requested Vishnu to liberate the sacred Vedas from the possession of Makara. Lord Vishnu then took the incarnation of Matsya and after killing Makar gave back the Vedas to Lord Brahma. Durvasa was the son of sage Atri. Once he went to Indralok to see Indra. At that time Indra was planning to go out somewhere. Durvasa presented a garland of Parijata flowers to Indra. Indra, after receiving the garland from Durvasa, kept it carelessly on the forehead of his elephant Airavat. The garland was trampled under its feet by the elephant, which infuriated sage Durvasa. He cursed Indra by saying, Immense prosperity has made you arrogant, but you will become a pauper within a very short time. Durvasa's words came to be true, and Indra found that not only the heaven but all the 3 worlds had become benefit of Goddess Lakshmi. Prosperity vanished and poverty prevailed everywhere. The deities became worried and went to take the help of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma took the deities to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu became pleased with their eulogy and said, I will take incarnation as Kurma. If the ocean were churned with the help of Mandharachal mountain and Vasuki, then Goddess Lakshmi would manifest herself. I shall hold the Mandharachal mountain on my back. This way the churning of ocean commenced. The Mandharachal mountain was uprooted and placed inside the Kshirsagara, and which rested on the back of Lord Kurma. The serpent Vasuki was held by deities and demons on both the ends. First of all, the most venomous poison, Kalakut, emerged from the ocean. Seeing both the deities and demons unwilling to accept it, Lord Shiva drank it. After the emergence of Kalakut, goddess Daridra and Varuni manifested themselves. Similarly, Airavat elephant, Uchashwara horse, Dhanavantari, Surabhi cow and Parijata tree emerged from the ocean. Ultimately, Goddess Lakshmi manifested herself. The deities requested her to dwell in the heart of Lord Vishnu and bless all the 3 worlds by her presence. Goddess Lakshmi greeted and blessed them. Narasimha incarnation. Continuing with the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, Sage Kashyapa had 2 mighty sons from Diti, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha had once carried the earth to Rasatala. The deities requested Lord Vishnu to rescue the earth from Vishnu. Lord Vishnu took the incarnation of a boar and killed Hiranyaksha with his sharp horn. When Hiranyakashipu learned about his brother's death, he went to Merugiri mountain and started doing penance to please me, Lord Shiva. I blessed him with immortality. Later on, Hiranyakashipu married Uttamapada's daughter Kalyani and had a son named Prahalad from her. In spite of being born in the clan of demon, Prahlada proved to be an extremely religious child and was a supreme devotee of Lord Vishnu. When Hiranyakashipu came to know about Prahlada's religious tendency, he tried his best to stop him from worshipping Vishnu. But all his efforts went in vain and Prahlada continued to worship Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu instructed his subordinates to kill Prahlada, but each time he came out unharmed. One day Hiranyakashipu pulled out his sword and said, "You say that Vishnu is omnipresent. Is he present in this pillar?" Having said this he assaulted the pillar with his sword. Suddenly, to his sheer amazement, Lord Vishnu manifested himself from that pillar in the form of Narasimha. Hiranyakashipu had been blessed by Lord Shiva that he could be killed neither by a man nor a beast. No weapon could harm him. He could be killed neither during the day nor during the night. Hiranyakashipu had taken into consideration all the possible threat perception to his life and tried to become immortal. But Lord Vishnu takes incarnations to protect the humanity whenever religious is under threat. This time Lord Vishnu took incarnation as Narasimha, partly lion and partly human, and tore apart his belly with his sharp nails. After the death of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlada was coronated as his successor. Prahlada ruled justly and his subjects were happy and satisfied. Vaman incarnation. Continuing with the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, Prahlad had a son named Virochan. The most benevolent king, Mahabahu Bali, was Virochan's son. Bali had defeated the deities and ruled over the three worlds. Sage Kashyap commenced the most austere penance, Payovrata, to help the deities regain their lost kingdom. Once again he was accompanied by his wife Aditi in his penance, which lasted for 1000 years. At last Lord Vishnu became defeated by their penance and appeared before them. Sage Kashyap narrated the awful tales of the deities and requested him to make Indra the lord of all the three worlds. Lord Vishnu promised that he would take incarnation as Vaman. In course of time, Aditi became pregnant and ultimately gave birth to Lord Vaman. Lord Vaman appeared in the form of Brahmachari. He wore a deer skin and carried a stick and a mekhala in both his hands. Lord Vishnu inquired the deities about the future course of action. The deities informed him that Bali was busy performing a yajna and he would not turn down any demand made to him because of if he did so there was a fear of losing all his virtues attained by the performance of the yajna. Lord Vaman went to the oblation site where Bali was performing a yajna and demanded a small piece of land measured by his 3 steps. Bali agreed to meet the demand of his guest in spite of Shukracharya's warning. Bali resolved to donate land by holding holy water in his palm. Now Lord Vaman abandoned his dwarfish form and appeared in a giant form. He measured the whole earth by his first step. Lord Vishnu then measured the whole sky by his second step. The helpless Bali agreed to donate all the 3 worlds to protect his home. Ultimately, Lord Vishnu sent Bali to the Rasatala, and thus Indra became the ruler of heaven once again. Sri Rama's birth. Describing about Sri Rama's incarnation, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati once Swayambhu Manu had expressed his desire of having Lord Vishnu as his son. to which Lord Vishnu had agreed. During Treta Yuga, Manu manifested himself as Dasharatha, and Vishnu kept his promise by taking birth as his son Sri Ram. Similarly, during Dwapar Yuga, Manu was born as Vasudeva, and Lord Vishnu kept his word by taking birth as his son Krishna. After the completion of the 1,000 divine years, Manu will be born in the village of Shambhal as Harigupta, and Lord Vishnu will take birth as his son Kalki. Lord Shiva then continued with the incarnation of Sri Rama and said, Sage Vishweshwara was the son of Pulasya and was married to Kekasi. Ravana and Kumbhakarna were born to the couple. Sage Vishwarava also had a daughter named Shurpanakha and a son named Vibhishana, virtuous scene, and he was very virtuous son. Ravana and Kumbhakarna did austere penance to please me. When I appeared before Ravan, he requested the boon of immortality from me. After receiving the boon, Ravan became very arrogant and started tormenting the inhabitants of all the three worlds. The deities became scared and took the refuge of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu assured them that he would solve their problem by taking incarnation as Sri Ram. Dasharath came from the lineage of Surya. He had three queens, Kaushalya, Sumitra and Kaikeyi. Once Dasharath performed a Vaishnava yajna with the objective of acquiring a son. Lord Vishnu appeared and assured him that he would take incarnation as Sri Ram in a short time. Lord Vishnu gave a bowl of divine kheer to Dasharath, which he distributed among his three queens. In course of time, Kaushalya gave birth to Sri Ram on the auspicious day of Chaitra Navami. The deities and the sages rejoiced at his birth. Sri Ram grows up. Continuing with the tale of Sri Ram, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, Dasharath requested Vashishta to perform the Jata Karma Sanskara of Sri Ram. In course of time, Kaikeyi gave birth to Bharat, an incarnation of Panchajanya conch. Similarly, Sumitra gave birth to two sons, Lakshman and Shatrugna. Lakshman was the incarnation of Sheshanag, while Shatrugna was the incarnation of Bharata was the incarnation of Sudarshan Chakra. Sri Ram and his brothers received the education under the guidance of sage Vibhishan. Sri Ram and his brothers received education under the guidance of sage Vasistha. In a very short time they became proficient in all the scriptures and mastered various weaponaries. Although all the four brothers were very close to each other, yet Lakshman could not bear to live in Ram's separation even for a moment and was especially close to him. Sita manifested herself from the field while Janaka was plowing it. King Janaka brought up Sita with great love and care. At that time, Vishwamitra was busy performing a grand yajna at Siddhashram, but the demons created numerous problems and made it impossible for him to accomplish the yajna. Vishwamitra went to Ayodhya and requested Dasharatha to send Sri Ram and Lakshman along with him so that the yajna could be accomplished without any problem. Dasharatha agreed to send Sri Ram and Lakshman along with Vishwamitra. This way Vishwamitra returned to his hermitage accompanied by both the brothers. Garuda presented a pair of bow, an imperishable set of arrows to both the brothers. While staying at the hermitage, Sri Rama and Lakshman killed many demons like Taraka and Subahu. When Marichi tried to disrupt the yajna, Sri Ram attacked him with the Pavan Astra, which sent Marichi flying across the seashore. Meanwhile, on learning that Janaka was performing Vajapeya Yajna at Janakapuri, Vishwamitra took Sri Ram and Lakshman to attend it. On the way, Sri Ram liberated Ahalya, who had turned into a rock after being cursed by her husband. After reaching Janakapuri, Sri Ram broke Lord Shiva's bow and married Sita. Lakshman married Urmila. Dasharath had come to attend the marriage ceremony accompanied by Bharat and Shatrugna. Bharat was married to Mandavi while Shatrugna married Shrutakirti. Meanwhile, on learning that Sri Ram had broken Shiva's bow, Parasuram arrived there and challenged him. But ultimately, Parashuram realized about the divinity of Sri Ram and accepted his superiority. At last, Sri Ram, Lakshman, Bharata and Shatrugna returned to Ayodhya along with their respective consorts. Sri Ram's exile. Lord Mahadeva continued with the tale of Sri Ram and told Parvati Dasharatha wanted to appoint Sri Ram as his successor, but Kaikeyi did not like this idea. She wanted Bharat to be made the king of Ayodhya and Sri Ram to be sent into exile for 14 years. Once Kaikeyi had saved Dasharatha's life while he was fighting a battle against the demons. To show his gratitude, Dasharatha had promised 2 boons to her. At that time, Kaikeyi had told Dasharatha that she would make her demand at the appropriate time. This way, Dasharatha was compelled by Kaikeyi to accept the 2 demands. As a result, Sri Ram was sent into exile. Bharata refused to become the king of Ayodhya and vowed to wait till Sri Ram returned. Dasharath could not bear the sorrows of Rama's separation and died in his sorrow. Bharat tried his best to convince Sri Ram to change his mind and accept the throne, but Sri Ram did not listen to his request. Bharat then brought Sri Ram's wooden sandal and kept it on the throne. He vowed to spend the rest of his life in austerities till Sri Ram returned. While Sri Ram was still in exile, he went to the hermitage of sage Atri and received his blessing. Atri's wife Anasuya preached Sita on the virtues of chastity. Sri Ram also visited hermitages of some other prominent sages like Sharabhanga, Sutiksha, Agastya. Once while Sri Ram was living in Panchavati, Shurpanaka arrived there. Shurpanaka was Ravana's sister and wanted to marry Sri Ram, but Lakshman severed her nose and ears. She went to a mighty demon named Khara and narrated her awful tale. Khara attacked Rama with a huge army which comprised of brave warriors like Trishira, Dushan. Sri Ram was victorious in this battle and Khara, Trishira and Dushan were killed. Shurpanaka went to Ravan and informed him about the misdeeds of Rama. Ravana was infuriated and wanted to take revenge. He abducted Sita with the help of Maricha. When Jatayu saw Ravan carrying Sita to Lanka, he fought with valiance but was injured in the ensuing battle. Sri Ram went in search of Sita and met Jatayu, who was inspired and injured and who informed Rama that Sita had been abducted by the demon king Ravan. Sri Ram met Hanuman at the Rikshamukh mountain. Later on, he befriended Sugriva on the advice of Hanuman. Sugriva had enmity with his brother Bali. Sri Ram killed Bali and made Sugriva the king. Sri Ram requested Hanuman to find out the whereabouts of Sita. Hanuman went to Lanka and found Sita at Ashokavatika. He destroyed the garden and killed many demons, including Ravan's son. Ultimately, he was captured by Meghanath and taken to Ravan's court. Ravan ordered Hanuman's tail to be ignited. Hanuman then burnt the city of Lanka and returned to Sri Ram. When Sri Ram came to know about the exact location of Sita, he decided to attack Lanka with a huge army, which comprised of monkeys. The army camped at the seashore where Vibhishan came to meet him. A bridge was built across the ocean and the army reached Lanka. A fierce battle took place in which many demons were killed. At last Ravan came forward to fight against Sri Ram but was killed. Sri Ram appointed Vibhishan as the king of Lanka and blessed him. Vibhishan presented his Pushpak Viman to Sri Ram. All of them boarded the Pushpak Viman and flew towards Ayodhya. On the way, Sri Ram met Bharat, who was still awaiting his arrival at Nandigram. Sri Ram was very pleased to meet Bharat. Ultimately, all of them returned to Ayodhya. Sri Ram's coronation. Describing the coronation of Sri Ram, Lord Mahadev told Parvati, "People of Ayodhya rejoiced at the return of Sri Ram. An auspicious day was chosen for his coronation and Sri Ram became the king of Ayodhya amidst the chantings of Vedic mantra. Sri Ram ruled over Ayodhya for 1000 years without any problem. Meanwhile, some ignorant people started pointing out fingers at the character of Sita. Sri Ram decided to abandon Sita in the forest to quell the rumor. Sita was pregnant at that time. Feeling pity on her condition, Valmiki took her to his hermitage where Sita gave birth to Love and Kush. Meanwhile, Sri Ram decided to perform Ashwamedha Yajna at the bank of river Gomati. But since the Yajna could not have been accomplished without Sita, therefore he performed the rituals seated beside a golden idol of Sita. In the meantime, Valmiki arrived there accompanied by Sita. He requested Sri Ram to accept Sita, watching for her chastity. Sri Ram told Valmiki, "I am confident of Sita's chastity, but she will have to prove her chastity for the satisfaction of common people." Sita was deeply hurt by Sri Ram's unkind remark. She said, "May Mother Earth swallow me if I ever had thought about any man other than my Lord Sri Ram." Hardly had Sita finished her lines than the earth cracked and Sita vanished into that service. Sri Ram's heart was filled with remorse, but thinking that it was perhaps in his destiny to live in separation with Sita, returned to Ayodhya accompanied by Love and Kush. In course of time, Kaushalya, Sumitra and Kaikeyi left for heavenly abode. Sri Ram continued to rule Ayodhya for 10,000 more years. One day, Kala, death, arrived and reminded Sri Ram that the time had arrived for him to leave his mortal body. Meanwhile, Lakshman became aware of Sri Ram's decision of leaving his mortal body. He gave up his life by taking samadhi in river Saryu. Sri Ram could not bear the sorrow caused by Lakshman's bereavement. He appointed Love and Kush as the kings of Dwaravati and Kushavati, respectively, and decided to leave for heavenly abode. Sri Ram entered the waters of river Saryu, flowing at the distance of 3 yojanas from Ayodhya.